Hello, and welcome to the Combed Education Podcast. Let's talk hair. My name is Araz. I am your host, and as I say before every episode, I'm a fellow hairdresser with over 2 decades of industry experience, and my mission is to help inspire and empower you through my learnings. And so, Combed Education, the Let's Talk Hair podcast, the fundamentals, everything that I have put out, my Instagram, is really to help you as a stylist and save you years of learning lessons the hard way. And one of my goals is to contribute to this industry, and this is the way I choose to do it, right? Through the podcast, the blog, my Instagram, the fundamentals, all of it. So I hope that you can use me as a resource for you if you are in this industry, whether you're brand new to it or you've been in it for a long time. This is one of the greatest industries, and I'm so proud and honored to be a part of it. And if I can contribute and give back and help, then I will do so. So today I want to talk about, we're going to cover a little bit of mindset. And so within Combed Education, I talk about mindset, I talk about hair color, I talk about color theory, skill set, all of it. But today is mindset focused. And it's really about why you've lost inspiration and what to do about it. So at some point in your career, you will hit the dreaded roadblock, right? For some of you, maybe you're there right now, and this is for you. So why have you lost inspiration, and what can you do about it? So I think it's safe to say that when we are at this place of feeling just uninspired by our career, oftentimes we want to just bail and quit, leave it all behind, start something new. Thoughts like, I can't do this, or I'm bored out of my fucking mind. I can't do another client. I'm not cut out for this, or why bother? These type of thoughts begin to creep in. And honestly, I feel you. I have been there before, and more than once. And today I want to dissect what causes us to get to that point in the first place, and what can we do to move past it and ultimately thrive in our careers. So how did we get here? I mean, it wasn't that long ago when we were super excited about our career, right? The future looked bright and limitless. Passion and creativity were flowing effortlessly. Things were good. So what happened between then and now? Uninspired, not excited, wanting to quit. Well, a few things happened, and there were a few things that should have happened and didn't to help you find and maintain inspiration. Didn't happen. So let's talk about what happened. How did you get here in the first place? So here are a few things that maybe you might relate to. Number one, you are likely overworked and overwhelmed. I mean, working 10 or 12-hour days, 5 days a week, churning and burning through clients can get exhausting. And exhaustion is actually a byproduct of overwhelm and can be a recipe for disaster, a root cause of lost inspiration, and the main reason why people want to quit. Overworked, overwhelmed, over it. Number two, you're likely bored as fuck. Doing the same thing day in and day out will drive anyone straight to boredom. Okay? If you haven't had any new and exciting clients in your chair, if you've been using the same colors, the same products, the same formulas, the same foiling techniques, the same everything, you are bored out of your fucking mind. And I get it. Repetition, stagnation, and boredom work against us, okay? We are creatives at heart. And if we don't give ourselves the opportunity to exercise our creative muscle, we get bored. Some of us quicker than others. And honestly, boredom is a recipe for disaster for us as an industry. When's the last time you changed it up and did something different? I know there's a ton of you who are out there taking classes left and right. Are you applying what you're learning? Or was it really cool to see so-and-so do a technique and then you're doing your same freaking mohawk section and diagonal backs on the side and calling it a day? You're bored. Okay. And lastly, you have lost your passion. You have lost or forgotten your why. Think back. When you enrolled in cosmetology school, however long ago that was, what was your why? The reason for even getting in this industry in the first place. Are you jaded? Have you forgotten your why? Have you elaborated and expanded your why? Or are you just stuck in a rut and just not excited anymore? I'm going to offer some perspective here because typically we usually lose our passion when the thoughts of quitting get really loud. But here's the truth. Your passion, your why, it's in you. It's not lost. Think of it this way. Simply put, inspiration, excitement, passion. I don't think that these are things that we innately have. These are things that we must cultivate and then work to maintain. Let me say it again. Inspiration, excitement, and passion are not things that we innately have. They're things that we must cultivate and then work to maintain. So when we're talking about, losing your passion, losing your why, one of the biggest breakthroughs for me was, I have my why of why I started in this industry, but as I grew up in this industry, my why changed. Initially, my why was never to impact this industry. My why was to help my clients, right? And so I had a CGT moment, come to Jesus moment, CTJ moment. It's easier when I type it out. Come to Jesus moment. When I realized I had lost my excitement and my passion because my why no longer served where I was. I got there. I got it. But I didn't elaborate. I didn't expand. And so there was a lot that I had to go through. But I realized I had to expand on it. Revisit it. Realize, okay, got that. Time for something new. But what I was saying earlier about these aren't things that we have innately. We're not innately inspired. We're not innately excited as adults right now, right? Like children for sure. But we have baggage. All of our life experiences have stifled our passion and creativity, and we have to work it. We have to cultivate it. We have to cultivate it. So what can you do to start cultivating this magic? So earlier I was talking about how we get here in the first place of uninspired and not excited and wanting to quit. And I mentioned that there were things that we did to get there, and there were things that we didn't do to find and maintain inspiration. That's what kind of got us here in the first place, in this place of uninspired and ugh. Let's talk about what can we begin incorporating. What can you begin incorporating to help you get out of this rut, cultivate your inspiration, remember and elaborate and expand on your why, and get to that place of thriving again? Because I'll tell you this much, unless you're done, quitting isn't going to make it any better. It's not. Quitting and leaving it behind will actually probably be more detrimental. So how do we get to that thriving place again? How do we cultivate that magic, right? We figured out how we got here. We're bored as fuck. We've lost inspiration. Don't know our why. Overworked. Overwhelmed. Fucking over it. So how do we cultivate it again? So number one, you're going to create space. I mentioned earlier that a lot of us are overworked and overwhelmed. And in that space of overwork and overwhelmed, there is no space for creativity. There's no space for inspiration. And there sure as shit is no space for reflection. We're so caught up in the hustle and the bustle of our business and our personal lives that we have no space to just fucking be. Quiet moments intentionally carved out from our busy schedules to really focus on big picture. This could look like taking a day off with no phone, no social media, no internet, no TikTok, no scrolling, like no interruptions. This could also look like giving yourself a few minutes between clients to just like woosah and breathe and rest. Some of you need to book out a lunch hour, okay? Eating while your client is processing in the back room while your other one's toning, like not cool. When you're so consumed with the hustle and bustle and the busyness of it, that's when you get to overwhelm and overworked, which then leads to losing your inspiration, your creativity, your passion. So number one, create some space for yourself to just fucking be. Think, reflect, bird's eye view over your business, over your life. Where are there gaps? Where are there things that you can start to implement? Like, where are you maybe missing the mark? Like, you can't see that when you're in the hustle and bustle of it. So, like, give yourself some space to really reflect. Number two, bust up that boredom. We get in a rut sometimes with our clients because we're doing the same thing over and over again. You're grabbing the same 6N. You're grabbing the same 9V. You're doing the same mohawk section with the diagonal back. You're doing the same little tip out. Maybe you start, like, you're doing the same shit over and over and over again. No wonder you're bored out of your freaking mind. No wonder. So how do you bust through that boredom? Do something different. Like, find a client that you can experiment on. Get yourself a few mannequin heads. You guys can't see. I have like 48 mannequin heads in the back. Watch some videos. Take some classes. Watch your coworkers. Learn some new things and try them out. Play. Create. Have fun. I guarantee you just doing something new and different is going to bust through that boredom real quick. Don't stay in your comfort zone of like, I know this is what I do, this is how I work, this is how I operate, this is what I formulate with, Fuck. You're going to be uninspired and like bored. Bust through it. Try something new. If you can't find a client, use a mannequin head. You can't find a mannequin head, freaking draw some shit. I don't know. Bust through that boredom and have fun. You are a creative. You are a creative. You are a creator. Routine, mundane, same shit day in and day out. It's a recipe for disaster. So bust up the boredom, take some classes, have some fun, utilize what you're learning. I mean, just scrolling on your phone is creativity, like overload. All these people doing all these different things, like have fun. Bust up that boredom. And you'll see that spark, it will start to ignite. Number 3, find your why again. And I say again because like I said earlier, oftentimes our why can shift a little bit and look different the longer that we are in this industry. Maybe you don't even have a why. Maybe you're like, man, I just want to do hair. It seems kind of fun. Like, what is it tied to? Because when shit gets rocky, when shit gets shaky, when these thoughts of like, I'm not good enough, like you need that anchor of your why. So if you're not even clear on it, get clear on it. And if you are clear on it, revisit, elaborate. Maybe it needs to change. Maybe it needs to shift. Maybe something different needs to happen. Because like I said, our why is directly tied to our purpose and passion. It's the golden ticket that's going to pull you out of your rut. If your why is unclear, you are going to just drift in this industry. What is it that I love about what I do? What are my goals? What is the impact that I want to create? What are my short-term goals? What are my long-term goals? Like, what's the long-term play for me? Once you do some digging, you're going to find that your why is what's going to pull you out. Okay? It's what you can anchor onto for help to pull you out, because now there's passion and purpose behind it. You're busting through the boredom so that you're not in a rut day in and day out doing the same thing. You're creating space for you to really reflect. And then lastly, education. Simple as that, okay? I will say this until my face turns blue. Education is the key for every single one of us. If you are here, I know some of you aren't watching this, you're listening, but like just imagine if you're in point A and you're trying to get to point B, education. That's what's going to help you. Stay educated. Take as many classes as you can. This is an investment into your career and can possibly surprise you how much you can change just from education alone. How much can shift, how much can move, how much can transform just from education. Even just being in the environment of education. Even if you don't take the technique and use it, being in that environment of the class with other hairdressers, other like-minded people in this industry will guarantee to pull you out. There's so much education out there, guys, from color theory to placement to formulation, business development, how to train an assistant. I mean, anything that you want to learn, you can find out there. Find it. So many people offer online education, so you don't have to go. You don't even have to fly anywhere or drive anywhere. Like, you can just pull up your phone and be like, hey, I'm taking my class. So there is literally zero excuse on why you can't take some classes. And trust me, when I tell you, it will make all the difference for you. With all of this being said, I hope that you take some time for yourself to really just dig around a little bit. Do the work. Don't just be victim to, I've lost my inspiration. I'm not excited. I'm just going to go be a nurse. Nothing wrong with that. But like, why'd you come into this industry in the first place? It's there. You got to dig. You got to dig. Cultivate your excitement, your passion, your purpose, your why, because there is no reason why you can't thrive in this industry. Other than you won't get out of your own way and you won't do the work that you need to pull yourself out. What do they say? Nobody's going to come save you. Be your own fucking hero. It's a true story. It's a true story. So I hope that this gave you a little bit of perspective. I hope that, you take a look at how you got here in the first place. But more importantly, I hope you implement the tools to pull yourself out. Because like I said, there's no reason why you shouldn't be thriving in this industry. With that being said, thank you for listening. And until next time, happy hair coloring.